I don't know. I feel like you become sick at a certain point. Your brain just can't handle it. Like the deep psychosis that we're experiencing within like individuals and within society. I think Seymour is going in this direction as well with his like understanding of resentment and conspiracy. It's just when you completely cover over humanity and what makes you human and what makes you like
Yeah.
uh, a person, and you just become like this cog in this massive abstract machine. You have to break at a certain point, and this is kind of what disaster nationalism is. It's this breaking point. So where we all break and we all go into collective or individualized psychosis.
Yeah, well, I have no problem using the language of corruption and reading, like,
Mm,
once again, the early Marx and the humanism in there. Like, it is a corruption of our humanity, like, in its fullest sense of what we mean, by being a human, and, like, humanizing nature, and, like, so on and so forth. And, like, it is this, like, ultimate degradation. Like, I don't know how to put it any other way. Like, it is a profound sickness at the heart of the modern world that, like, infects everything. Like, it is all pervasive.
I am very much in favor of eschewing the strict, hyper naive rationalist coded language that I think a lot of us in the in some relation to the socialist ethic, Marxists, we have fallen prey to over the years, since well before any of us were born. But like, I'm very okay with that. I think it's just necessary. B, it's got precedence, whatever. And C, that's just who I actually am. So that's just who I'm going to be. Like, when we're talking about decadence, I never want to I never say, like, just so we're clear, I'm only talking about decadence in the sense of uh, productive capacity. No, I'm talking about decadence in terms of
Yeah.
morals. I'm talking about decadence in terms
Hmm.
of social relations. And again, like, I got confirmed to start going to mass for less than what some might call rational reasons. It's not the point. Um, anyway, so yeah, I'm very much in favor of that. I want to push really hard.
Well,
Like Brendan, you said
I'll let you
you're going to get a little bit woo woo here. It's like, first of all, go for it. I think it's
Yeah.
hell
great.
yeah.
I encourage it. But second, and maybe more importantly, no, you didn't. You're just talking about human things.
Yes.
We're not like we.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not that we are like computers. We're not like computers. That's why we're better. We are better than computers. We are better than AI. We are better than automated anything. I am a human supremacist. I don't think that other species should be like housed in factories and used for our exclusive benefit, whatever. But I'm a human supremacist. That means I think that we need to be stewards of the natural world because we are part of the natural world. And I agree with the late Pope Francis that we should treat the natural world like siblings because we are all products of creation. We are not above creation. We are rooted in the world that exists.
Yeah.
Um,
And
That
this
your
and
this goes
point
really
about
well. Oh, go ahead.
I'll let you go. Okay. Like, just real quick, like, your point about
I'll let you
people,
go.
like,
Okay.
sorry.
No. Sorry.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, like, your point about, like, kind of this, like, signaling to others, that I think there's a sense in, even within the theoretical, like, sphere, this ethos of competition has been so inculcated. Like, when people, like, you not only argue on and, like, try and display that you can just, argue for these things in these more, naively rationalist sort of terms, as a way to gain a pointless advantage over the other intellectuals that you are, like, and dialoguing with. Like, when Chris Catrone is doing this, like, sort of, like, weird, controversial, provocatory thing about saying, whatever about the Palestinians. Like, what it is it's trying to gain a pointless theoretical advantage while, like, covering over the opportunity for actual solidarity with a real life struggle that has concrete, like effects and like lives are at stake and like passions are invested in it, and then you take up this like this like edgelord sort of position, and like what it is it's like competition within the sphere of theory. You have to set yourself
Yeah.
aside, you have to compare yourself to others,
Yeah.
and once again it's like it's corrupting even to him. Like it's like in that situation he's covering over his own humanity, you know. And I think you have to be willing to like even see that. Like I'm also a big this is like, as much as like we have to fight like against these like disaster nationalisms, we also have to take up a view that would say like the world we want to build would also be better for you. That's
Right.
why I also like the whole what happened to the emperor after the Chinese Revolution. Like he had a better life. He was just in the garden. Taking care of things. He was at peace. He wasn't constantly fighting. Like I don't know. I like that as just like a little example of yeah, we want a truly human society, a society that
Right.
allows for the flourishing of the many-sided, multifaceted aspects of the human character to like come forth and develop like as freely and fully as they possibly can. And yeah, like we have a society that is anti-human, that like is yeah, like it's I really like I've been reading a bunch of like Enrique Dussel, and he makes a big point about fetishism as like this essential logic to the world we live in, and it's the fetishism of money and of capital, this like the products of man coming to like obtain the life of their own, and we put ourselves into money, and it doesn't serve human beings. Now we're in service of this like pecuniary reason that like dominates the earth. And yeah, like it I don't know. I feel like I'll just spiral out in different directions here, but yes.
Well, this is the, I mean, the rot at the core of this entire project of this inhumanity, like, goes into the like realm of ideas as well, where I have to like preface before I speak that I'm actually not going to participate in the market ideas of the
Yeah.
marketplace of ideas for the thing that I'm about to say, because it's not like logical or rational, but it's
Yeah.
human. That's like, so
Yeah,
you have to like,
you have to. Yeah, you earlier when you said I don't, I'm gonna get woo
yeah,
woo here. You're engaging in an operation of fetishistic disavowal. You
exactly.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Genuinely, I am. Marxists got to reject the marketplace of ideas.
Before I quote from the text, I want to make sure I'm not speaking because Nancy, you were going to speak in that, and
yeah. Sorry.
yeah, no,
That's okay.
just we all should do it. That's okay.
Oh, I was going to say that this is just like a really good flow into chapter 2. We're doing good timing to start chapter
Sick.
2.
It is. Yeah, this is
and
great.
Oh,
and I like how the quote on chapter 2 starts off with a resident from the Buffalo Creek flood that happened in 1972, where he says, "I feel as I'm sure a prisoner must feel who has been sentenced to prison for a crime he didn't commit." And Seymour starts chapter 2 by talking about what happened in West Virginia, where a corporation, I get a mining company, flooded a local water area for this small community and caused a big pollution, a big disaster. And instead of the company really reaching out to the residents and apologizing about it, they acted about it in a very inhumane way and chalked it up and at the end by saying, "Oh, it's just an act of God. So we're sorry about that," and left it at that. And so you would think that it would have brought the community together to fight against this corporation to I guess discover more unity in the community, but it actually did the opposite. There were a lot of people that were completely okay with that explanation, saying, "Oh, well, they said it was an act of God. It was an accident. Shit happens." Where other
right.
people were completely divided on that and said, "No, they screwed up our water here, and we're still suffering from these consequences. But somehow we have to go to court now and learn all this new terminology to fight this corporation." So it is a very inhumane, not natural way to handle such a horrible thing to happen in your community, in your environment. So what you guys were saying, I thought, is just perfect to how Seymour starts chapter 2.
Yeah. Um, no, I agree. And I almost regret the fact that I want to quote something from the chapter 1, but I think I can do it in a way which is.
If you quote it, I'll quote a thing into chapter 2. We got this.
Yeah, I think that this can be framed by Nancy the way that you have ushered in chapter 2, because I think it's just to really complicate things. Because he says, this is in section 4 of chapter 1. He says, when disaster nationalists talk up their working class credentials, however disingenuously, it is not simply a ruse. And Nancy, what you just described would reasonably lead one to say, "Oh, that's a ruse. They're just lying to you." This new far right is not just the same as the old business-minded conservatism. Like its 20th century forebears, it seeks a different relationship to workers than the parliamentary conservatives it is trying to eclipse. And I think that we see a lot of tension in, I'm just speaking only in U.S. terms, especially because of what you just said, about the differences between a person like Steve Bannon and a person like, I don't know, just to be, because I've already said Elon Musk. Now they're both trying to like, oh, well, I'm MAGA, no, I'm MAGA. It's like, well, there's obviously so much tension because they're very, not just different, opposite, antagonistic, oppositional interests and orientations on display here. So it's just what you just talked about is a really good example of just how much more complicated it is than just business as usual. Like when Dick Cheney was vice president, and you could like follow the different figures and their bank accounts to events in Iraq and in the reconstruction and so on. Like this is really easy. You could make a very simple case for like, this is what's happening. This is why. It's more complex now. It's more horrifying now.
There's on page 49, talking about disaster, Seymour says, a city of comrades is only likely to appear in special circumstances where the disaster does not disperse the community, where the community was not already split among multiple fault lines, class, race, religion, where there was already traditions of self-help, mutualism, and solidarity, and in some instances where the disaster is not inflicted by other human beings. And then jumping a little ahead, the sociologist Kai Erikson notes he has never once found the fabled euphoria or democracy of distress. And I think this is important to point out as well, as we like experience more and more of these disasters, that like this myth of like everybody coming together is actually like it's not, again, this kind of goes back to the self-interest. Like it would be in your like self-interest for everybody to come together, everything, but that's not how people work. But it's a myth that's being rolled out all the time. Like nobody's dealing with the fault lines in society. Nobody's dealing with the fact that even within the like MAGA coalition, there are these internal contradictions. I mean, I want to bring up, I just finished Goliath's Curse by Luke Kemp, which came out this year. And literally the entire book is just this like weird anarcho-primitivist or paleo-conservative argument of just like, well, when collapse happens, everybody comes together. So maybe we should look forward to the US collapse. It's like, that's not what we're in for. And I think Seymour is very clear-eyed about this in a way that a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, I've seen that even happen in my own rural community, like what happened recently with Charlie Kirk. Like there is definitely a division amongst all local churches here where some people felt, oh, I very much agree that Charlie Kirk had a good message. He was a very religious man. And then when there was another Christian community here, the non-denominational side, I think, I'm not sure. I'll double check, but they were the ones that were very divided on that and said the opposite. No, this person was saying empathy is bad, horrible things about women and minorities, etc. And I could see exactly like what you're saying, Brandon, that you would think that these disasters would bring this community together, but in fact, the opposite happened.
And when a natural disaster or a company were to like cause a like crisis of hunger or of housing or something, those fault lines are going to continue to exist even into the crisis. The crisis isn't going to resolve these fault lines or these contradictions. And that's one of the reasons why something like disaster nationalism is going to flourish as we like go into like climate catastrophe more and more.